a World War II urban legend. They say this report should not exist. No museum has it. No archive lists it. No official military file confirms it was ever written. And yet, for decades, the same disturbing story has been whispered among veterans, historians, and military families. Always the same details. Always the same ending. It became known simply as the Dead Men's Report. During World War II, bomber missions were among the most dangerous operations of the war. Crews often flew knowing there was a real chance they would never return. Anti-aircraft fire, mechanical failure, weather, enemy fighters, death could come in seconds. According to the legend, 3 pilots flying a Douglas DB-7 Boston were sent on a bombing mission over heavily defended German territory. The mission was routine. The danger was not. Radio contact was lost shortly after the bombing run. The aircraft failed to return. By military protocol, the crew was declared missing in action, and soon after, presumed dead. Their names were already being prepared for casualty reports. Hours later, something impossible allegedly happened. Ground personnel at the airbase claimed they saw the 3 pilots approaching on foot. They were in uniform. They were intact. But witnesses later said something felt deeply wrong. Their faces were pale, their eyes distant. Their expressions carried a kind of terror that didn't look like fear but realization. They didn't ask where they were. They didn't ask what had happened. They went straight to the command building. The pilots requested to speak with a senior marshal. According to the story, the marshal agreed to see them immediately. Inside his office, he reportedly noticed their behavior was unusual. They spoke calmly, but without warmth. They followed protocol perfectly, too perfectly. The marshal ordered them to write their mission report. They sat down and began to write. What they described was chilling. Enemy anti-aircraft fire, critical damage to the aircraft, loss of control. And then the moment the bomber went down, they allegedly described their own deaths in precise detail, not emotionally, not dramatically, but clinically, as if they were documenting an event rather than experiencing it. When the report was finished, the marshal dismissed them. He told them to rest, to get a drink, to calm down. The pilots stood, saluted, and left the office. That was the last time anyone claimed to see them. Minutes later, official confirmation arrived. The Douglas DB-7 had crashed during the mission. All 3 crew members were confirmed dead. There were no survivors. According to later retellings, the marshal was deeply shaken. He wrote his own account of the incident, stating that he had spoken with the pilots. He had physically handled their report. The handwriting was real. The paper was real. Those documents were reportedly stored temporarily, and then they disappeared. Some versions of the legend say they vanished overnight. Others claim they were quietly destroyed. No one agrees on what happened to them, but many insist they existed. What makes the story truly unsettling is not just the encounter. It's the behavior of the pilots. They didn't seem confused. They didn't question their fate. They acted as if one obligation remained: to report the mission, to explain how it ended, and only then to leave. Others believe it was a symbolic way to cope with sudden loss, but those who believe the legend point to one unsettling detail. The story has been told for generations, always the same. 3 pilots, a report, a marshal, and documents that no longer exist. Some say soldiers who die in combat don't always realize the mission is over. And if duty defines a man completely, death may not be enough to stop him. They say the pilots were never seen again. And somewhere, lost to time, a report may have once existed, written by men who were already dead,